computer is a machine that can be programmed to carry out sequences of arithmetic or logical operations automatically. The three logical units that make up the central processing unit are the arithmetic and logic unit, ALU, main storage, and the control unit. It consists of an arithmetic and logic unit, a control unit, and various registers. The CPU is often simply referred to as the processor. The ALU performs arithmetic operations and related operations according to the program instructions. A diagram of a CPU. The central processing unit's control unit regulates and integrates the computer's operations. It selects and retrieves instructions from the main memory in the correct sequence and interprets them, so that the other functional elements of the system can perform their respective operations at the appropriate time. A CPU is responsible for finding instructions to follow as requested by the program user. A CPU is responsible for finding instructions to follow as requested by the program user. After translating and decoding instructions, the CPU can finally execute instructions. Sometimes the processed data also needs storage. A CPU can allow the storage of this data for reference or use at a later time. What is a storage media? In computers, a storage medium is a physical device that receives and retains electronic data for applications and users and makes the data available for retrieval. The storage medium might be inside a computer or other device or attached to a system externally, either directly or over a network. These are some types of storage devices. Data in a computer system is represented in binary format as a sequence of zeros and ones, denoting off and on states respectively. The smallest component of this binary representation is known as a bit, which stands for binary digit. A byte, on the other hand, generally encompasses 8 bits. Binary code is a system by which numbers, letters, and other information are represented using only 2 symbols or binary digits. The binary definition to a computer is a ones and zeros code arranged in ways that the computer can read, understand, and act upon. Data encryption converts data from a readable, plain text format into an unreadable, encoded format, ciphertext. Users and processes can only read and process encrypted data after it is decrypted. The decryption key is secret, so it must be protected against unauthorized access. A comparison between asymmetric encryption versus symmetric encryption. All data on a computer system is represented using binary patterns, which are sequences of ones and zeros. In order to represent an image, one method is to store it as if it were a grid of colored squares, with each color represented by a unique binary pattern. Generally done by taking a sample of amplitude of the sound wave at regular time intervals. A binary value is given to each reading. The greater the sampling frequency, the truer the digital signal is to the original, but the greater the file size. Why compress? Processing power and storage space is very valuable on a computer. To get the best out of both, it can mean that order to transfer it more quickly and so that it takes up less storage space. You need to reduce the file size of text, image, and audio data. There are 2 basic types of compression: lossy methods, in which some data is lost when the files are decompressed, and lossless methods, in which no data is lost when the files are restored to their original format. As long as bandwidth is expensive and people are impatient, data compression is here to stay. There are 2 basic types of compression: lossy methods, in which some data is lost when the files are decompressed, and lossless methods, in which no data is lost when the files are restored to their original format. As long as bandwidth is expensive and people are impatient, data compression is here to stay. Some basic logic gates. Computer networks are generally used to allow devices within the network to transmit, exchange or otherwise share information and resources with one another. Networks may be set up to connect the devices within a home or business environment, all the way up to connecting a nationwide or global enterprise. Personal Area Network, PAN, refers to a network used by just one person to connect multiple devices, such as laptops to scanners, etc. Local Area Network, LAN. The local area network connects devices within a limited geographical area, such as schools, hospitals, or office buildings. Computer networks components comprise both physical parts as well as the software required for installing computer networks, both at organizations and at home. The hardware components are the server, client, peer, transmission medium, and connecting devices. The software components are operating system and protocols. A diagram of the computer components. The World Wide Web is based on several different technologies: web browsers, hypertext markup language, HTML, and hypertext transfer protocol, HTTP. A web browser is used to access web pages. Web browsers can be defined as programs which display text, data, pictures, animation, and video on the Internet. Number 1. Web browser. A web browser is an application for accessing websites and the Internet. When a user requests a web page from a particular website, the browser retrieves its files from a web server and then displays the page on the user's screen. Number 2. Web server. A web server is computer software and underlying hardware that accepts requests via HTTP or its secure variant, HTTPS. Number 3. Uniform locator, URL, URLs, uniform resource locators, are the website addresses you enter into the address bar of your browser. They contain the domain name of a site, such as facebook.com, and any directories and files that you're trying to open. Network topologies are classed into physical and logical topologies. Physical topologies showcase the actual physical wired layout, showing where and how exactly the network is connected. Logical topologies show the logical network path along which data travels from one end to the other. Types of computer topologies: bus topology, ring topology, mesh topology, tree topology, star topology, hybrid topology. However, the network of topology differs from place to place. However, all of them have their advantages and disadvantages. If the server problem occurs or server gets down, then topology faces its failure. The end.